$1,800,000. That's not the price of a house. That's not a yacht. That's how much one Real Housewife spent to say I do to a man she'd already divorced once before. And honestly, she's not even at the top of this list. From $400,000 coming to America-themed weddings with live lions to brides wearing hair that cost more than your car payment for a year, these ladies turned their I do's into I did that. Let's break down exactly where every dollar went. The dresses, the diamonds, the drama. And trust me, you're going to need to sit down for number 1. Eva Marcille and Michael Sterling. Starting us off at number 10 is America's next top model winner turned Atlanta housewife, Eva Marcille. Now, Eva originally budgeted between $80,000 and $100,000 for her wedding to politician Michael Sterling. But honey, that budget flew out the window faster than her ANTM crown competitors. The flowers alone cost $20,000, and that's just to make it smell pretty. She spent approximately $1,000 per guest for 235 attendees. Her ball gown was estimated around $15,000 to $20,000, and the whole thing added up to $350,000 when the final bill came. Eva also had some interesting rules for her guests. No kids, no +1s, and no ankles. That's right, she demanded ball gowns only. Some people still showed up in cocktail dresses, and Eva was not happy. Oh, and NeNe Leakes gave a speech, because why not add more drama? Unfortunately, this $350,000 fairy tale didn't last forever. Eva and Michael divorced in 2023 after 5 years of marriage. That's $70,000 per year of marriage, if you're keeping track. Bethenny Frankel and Jason Hoppy. Bethenny Frankel was pregnant, in love, and getting her own spin-off called Bethenny's Getting Married. Yes, with a question mark, which should have been our first clue. She got married at the Four Seasons in New York City, where wedding packages start at $200,000. Bethenny kept her dress relatively modest at an estimated $8,000 to $10,000. But when you're hosting over 100 guests at the Four Seasons with Bravo cameras rolling, the costs add up fast. Fellow RHONY stars Alex McCord and Ramona Singer were in attendance, probably judging everything. Jason Hoppy went from husband number 2 to enemy number 1, real quick. They separated in 2012, and their divorce became one of the messiest in Housewives history, lasting 8 years before finally being finalised in 2021. That's longer than many marriages. Bethenny has since been in love about 3 or 4 times, according to gossip columns, and is currently doing just fine, running her skinny girl empire, Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker. Now this is where things get interesting. Grammy-winning songwriter Kandi Burruss said, "If Eddie Murphy can do it, so can I," and threw an entire Coming to America-themed wedding. She walked down the aisle in a $20,000 custom Recco Chapel gown with a 12-foot train made of ostrich feathers, paired with $1,195 Christian Louboutin crystal-studded transparent stilettos. On her head sat a custom diamond-encrusted tiara, and around her neck hung diamond drop earrings, and a chunky diamond choker worth an estimated $25,000 or more. The 7-tier key lime, vanilla and chocolate cake ran $2,500. Dougie Fresh, Musique Soulchild, and Belle Biv DeVoe performed live. But here's the best part, there were live lions at the entrance. Lions. Also, elaborately dressed women dropping rose petals, drummers, festive dancers, and someone singing "She's Your Queen to Be," just like in the movie. Her bridesmaids included Fantasia, Tiny Harris, and Phaedra Parks, all in white. And Mama Joyce, the mother who called Todd an opportunist and caused so much drama, she was there behaving herself, barely. Plot twist, Kandi and Todd are still married. Over 11 years later, they're one of the most successful housewives couples. They have restaurants, a trucking company, and multiple kids. Sometimes the $400,000 investment pays off. Teresa Giudice and Luis Ruelas. Okay, let's talk about the wedding that broke the internet. Specifically because of that hair. Teresa Giudice, the table-flipping queen of New Jersey, married Luis Ruelas in a ceremony that was basically a housewives reunion. Let's start with the hair because it deserves its own moment. $10,000. $10,000 just for hair. It included $7,000 worth of human hair extensions and 1,500 bobby pins to keep her hairdo fit for a queen in place. The final style weighed 3 pounds. Her custom Marc Zunino Atelier Blush Mermaid gown featured over 300 yards of hand-draped English netting with a train over 100 inches long, estimated between $15,000 and $25,000. She paired it with pearl-embellished opera-length gloves and a veil embroidered with Sempre Insieme, meaning always together, in Italian, worth another $3,000 to $5,000. The Park Chateau Estate and Gardens in East Brunswick, New Jersey, is a 15-acre palatial property where wedding packages run $350 or more per person. With over 220 guests, plus a 16-piece band, a DJ, saxophonist Art Kreiklo, drummer Tito Puente Jr., sword swallowers, stilt walkers, aerialists, and burlesque dancers, the entertainment budget alone was staggering. Preston Bailey designed the lush white floral arrangements with gold and crystal accents, easily adding another $50,000 or more. Kenya Moore, Phaedra Parks, Cynthia Bailey, Dorinda Medley, Jill Zarin, Chanel Iron, and basically every housewife who wasn't named Melissa Gorga showed up. Who wasn't there? Her brother Joe and sister-in-law Melissa, who skipped the wedding after some unforgivable betrayal. The family drama continues to this day. Teresa and Louis are still married, though the drama with the Gorgas is still very much alive. They're coming up on their third anniversary, Porsha Williams and Simon Guobadia. When Porsha Williams started dating Simon Guobadia, her former friend Fallon's very recent ex-husband, people had thoughts. But Porsha said love wins, and threw not one but two lavish wedding ceremonies. Day one was a Nigerian traditional ceremony at the Four Seasons Hotel Atlanta with 250 guests. Porsha wore a custom red Lakimi gown for the Edo bride tradition worth an estimated $10,000 to $15,000, plus an okuku, a traditional headpiece with Benin coral beads. They flew in Benin singers and dancers to make it authentic. Day two was the American ceremony at a Methodist church, followed by a reception at the St. Regis Atlanta with 350 guests. She switched to a white lace Frida ball gown worth $20,000 to $30,000, while Tasha Cobbs Leonard performed For Every Mountain with a 40-piece orchestra and gospel choir. The cake was so tall she needed a sword to cut it. Multiple outfit changes, custom wigs from her Go Naked line. Porsha did not hold back. But here's the real shocker. Simon's engagement ring to Porsha cost between $500,000 and $1.25 million. That's not a ring, that's a down payment on a small island. Porsha admitted, "If extra was a bride, it'd be me. I promise you, I did not know that I was this extra." Well, Porsha filed for divorce in February 2024 after just 15 months of marriage. But wait, there's more drama. Simon was recently deported to Nigeria after being detained by ICE. Porsha won her prenup battle and gets $40,000 per month in alimony for 15 months. Plus she keeps the Rolls Royce he gifted her. So that $1 million wedding wasn't a total loss. Cynthia Bailey and Mike Hill. Cynthia Bailey looked at a global pandemic and said, "Not today, COVID." She and Fox Sports host Mike Hill met on Steve Harvey's talk show during a matchmaking segment in 2018, got engaged in 2019, and refused to change their October 10th, 2020 wedding date, even as the world was falling apart. 250 guests showed up to the Governor's Town Club in Georgia. Cynthia wore two brides by Nona gowns, a stunning rose gold ceremony dress covered in crystals, and a curve-hugging white reception number with sheer sequin panelling. Mike wore two Don Morphy suits, including one with a photo of them sewn inside the jacket. But here's the truly iconic part. Jill Zarin from RHONY and her daughter Ali provided custom Chill-branded face masks as party favours. There were temperature checks at the door, hand sanitising stations everywhere, and social distancing dots on the dance floor. Hurricane Delta forced the whole thing indoors 2 days before, which made all those COVID protocols even more important. Kenya Moore, Kandi Burruss, and Eva Marcille were bridesmaids. Porsha showed up dripping in beads. NeNe Leakes was noticeably absent. The verdict? They divorced in December 2022, just 2 years later. Cynthia said they stopped being friends. The divorce papers accidentally cited cheating, which had to be quickly corrected. They're on good terms now, but that pandemic wedding didn't survive the aftermath. Tamra Judge and Eddie Judge. Tamra Judge went so hard on her wedding that Bravo gave it a 3-part spin-off series called Tamra's OC Wedding. She married Eddie Judge at the St. Regis Monarch Beach Resort in Dana Point, California on June 15th, 2013, and they planned the whole thing in just 5 weeks. Tamra wore 3 Mark Zunino dresses, a blush ceremony gown covered in hand-sewn beading, a lace reception dress with delicate embroidered flowers, and a third dress specifically for their choreographed cha-cha. Because yes, they learned a Latin dance together and performed it for their guests. Her ring, 5 carats with 368 diamonds, valued at $35,000. Her shoes, $6,000. The 6-tiered lemon cake with edible diamonds, $2,500, displayed on a suspended platform surrounded by floating pearls. 100 guests watched, including bridesmaids Heather Dubrow and Vicky Gunvalson. The sweetheart table was raised up so Tamra could, and this is a direct quote, "look down on my guests." Here's the plot twist: they're still married. Over 12 years later, Eddie has publicly said he will never divorce Tamra and that he loves her to Mars and back. In Housewives terms, that's basically a miracle. Kenya Moore and Mark Daly. Kenya Moore spent years looking for love on RHOA. We watched her go through the Walter Jackson situation, the Matt Jordan disaster, all of it. Then in June 2017, she just got married, in secret, in St. Lucia, without telling any of her castmates. She married restaurant owner Mark Daly in an intimate beach ceremony at sunset under an awning of white roses. Kenya wore a custom Palace Couture mermaid gown shipped from Australia, plunging neckline, covered in sequins and beaded flowers. Her best friend Brandon walked her down the aisle because her dad couldn't make it. She did her own hair and tried to read her own vows, but cried too hard. Not a single housewife was invited. No Kandi, no Cynthia, no NeNe. This became a whole storyline when season 10 started filming and everyone found out she'd been secretly married for months. They welcomed daughter Brooklyn in 2018, but viewers noticed tension whenever Mark appeared on camera. The way he spoke to Kenya made people uncomfortable. They announced their separation in 2019, tried to reconcile, failed, and went through 3 years of divorce litigation. It finally ended in late 2023. Kenya got primary custody and the house. Mark pays $2,000 a month in child support. Neither got alimony. As of early 2025, Mark is reportedly engaged to someone new and dealing with eviction lawsuits. The secret St. Lucia sunset wedding became one of the messiest divorces in franchise history. Speaking of investments, if you're investing your time watching this video, hit that like and subscribe button, because the next weddings on this list cost more than some people's houses. Kim Zolciak and Kroy Biermann. The woman who brought us Don't Be Tardy for the Party was definitely not tardy for spending money on her wedding to Atlanta Falcons player Kroy Biermann. Kim wore 3 dresses. The ceremony dress was a $58,000 Barachi Beverly Hills gown. And here's the kicker, it was pre-owned. She bought it from preownedweddingdresses.com. But this wasn't your average used dress. It was covered in Swarovski crystals, pearls, beads, and embroidered lace with a bustier of 100% Duchess satin, featuring hand-carved crystal roses. It weighed 32 pounds. For the reception, she changed into an $18,000 Pnina Tornai mermaid gown with pearl and Swarovski crystals. Then for the after-party, she threw on a $16,000 backless Pnina Tornai. That's $92,000 just for clothes to wear for one day. The 11-tiered wedding cake cost $14,000. Celebrity blogger Perez Hilton was there, because of course he was. The whole thing came to $1 million. Kim met Kroy at a Dancing Stars of Atlanta charity event during season 3 of RHOA. She famously told him, "I've never in my whole life seen an A like that. I just had to tell you." Romance. Oh boy, where do we start with this current status? Kim filed for divorce in May 2023 after 11 years. Then they reconciled. Then Kroy filed. Then they called it off. Then they filed again. Their Georgia mansion was sold at foreclosure auction in December 2024. And in April 2025, US Marshals literally ejected them from the home. As of late 2025, the divorce is still in process. Kim has a new boyfriend named Kyle, and their daughter Ariana claims her parents spent her childhood earnings without telling her. So that $1 million wedding investment, currently yielding complicated returns. Pandora Vanderpump Todi, Lisa. Vanderpump is known for luxury, and when her only daughter, Pandora, got engaged to Jason Sabo, she was not about to do anything halfway. The wedding invitations alone cost $15,000 for paper and envelopes and a huge box that people probably didn't know what to do with. Surprisingly, the dress was modest at $6,000, but it included hand-sewn roses with diamonds. Celebrity wedding planner Kevin Lee transformed a private estate into a pink paradise with an air-conditioned tent featuring flora and fauna galore, suspended floral arrangements, and flowers encompassing chandeliers. Over 200 people attended. The wedding was featured on season 2 of RHOBH and became one of the most talked about reality TV weddings ever. Total cost? $1 million? Good news. Pandora and Jason are still married, over 13 years later. They have children and seem genuinely happy. Lisa Vanderpump must be thrilled that at least $1 million wedding investment paid off long term. NeNe Leakes and Greg Leakes. NeNe Leakes and Greg originally married in 1997. They divorced in 2011. And then, because love and possibly television contracts conquer all, they got remarried in 2013 in what can only be described as the most extravagant housewives wedding of all time. For the ceremony, NeNe wore a $50,000 Baracci Beverly Hills gown. Gold and white, covered in Swarovski crystals, old Hollywood glamour theme. Because one $50,000 dress isn't enough, she changed into a $20,000 Panina Tournée for the reception. Then she needed a third dress just for dancing, because you can't bust a move in that much crystal. But the jewellery is where it gets absolutely insane. Greg presented her with a 15.2 carat engagement ring. Let that sink in. At the altar, he added a 10-carat diamond wedding band. The combined jewellery value is estimated between $750,000 and $1 million just for the rings. The wedding was held at the Intercontinental Buckhead Atlanta Hotel, with an old Hollywood theme throughout for over 400 guests. Judge Mathis officiated. Kim Zolciak, Cynthia Bailey, Marlo Hampton, Jennifer Williams, Jill Zarin, Patti Stanger, Gretchen Rossi, Vivica A. Fox and Fantasia Barrino were all there. NeNe had 9 bridesmaids in white Gabriella Arango gowns, and her sons Brent and Bryson walked her down the aisle. Guests dined on homemade biscuits, mac and cheese, shrimp and grits, fried chicken, salmon, shrimp, crab, greens, mashed potatoes, pasta and ravioli. The wedding cake had 10 layers. The reception lasted 5 hours into the early morning. NeNe worked with event planner Tony Conway for 2 months to pull it all off. She wanted completely fabulous and she got it. Remember that $1.8 million total? Well, in July 2013, just 1 month after the wedding, NeNe was sued by her wedding planner, Dream Design. Weddings claimed she didn't pay her bills in full and wanted over $889,000 from her. Even NeNe said, "I feel amazing. Both of us want this, so it will definitely work this time. I know exactly what I'm getting myself into." NeNe and Greg stayed married until his death in September 2021. Greg passed away from colon cancer at age 66 after a long battle. He was first diagnosed in 2018, went into remission, but the cancer returned in 2021. NeNe has said she misses him so much and didn't realise how valuable Greg was to my life until he was gone. Despite the lawsuit drama and the jaw-dropping price tag, this wedding gave NeNe 8 more years with the love of her life. Sometimes you can't put a price on that.